the important part is where they start giving you the letters and stuff. So it tells you that you have medians. Well, of course, we know that because we have all our lines. So we know that these are our medians. We've got our centroid, of course. Now, what it tells you is that EM right here, EM is 2x plus 3. So from here to here, this little area right here is 2x plus 3. And from M to G, so from here to here, is x plus 5. Now, what do we know about the sides of a triangle? What did I tell you yesterday happens when you have a median?
That you have vertices.
Well, the vertex is your angle. When you draw that median from the vertex to the opposite side, what happens? It cuts this side into two pieces, and those two pieces are what? Equal. Remember, I told you that every time you have a median, it cuts those pieces into two equal pieces. So this piece is equal to this piece. This piece is equal to this piece. And this piece is equal to this piece. The median cuts each side into two equal pieces. So, if I know what this piece is, and I know what this piece is, what can I do with those two pieces?
You can put them equal together.
Set them equal to each other. So I need to put this piece equal to this piece. And they told me what they were. So all I'm going to do is set those two pieces equal to each other and solve. Because every median cuts them in half. So, on this problem, I'm going to say 2x plus 3 equals x plus 5. Because that's what it tells me, is that those two pieces are now equal to each other because that median cuts them in half. And now, of course, we solve it. So, how do we solve it? I'm going to move this over here. Remember, that's a 1. So, positive 1, I now subtract 1. So, 2 minus 1 is now 1. So, x or 1x, same thing. So now, if the x came to the front, the number goes to the back. So that means positive 3 now becomes negative 3. So now x equals 2. So my job is to know that each piece of the triangle is now cut into equal pieces. So every time you have a triangle, okay? Every time you have a triangle, doesn't matter what the triangle is, when you draw that median, it immediately cuts it into two equal pieces. This piece equals this piece. So if this is 7x and this is, x minus 3, then you immediately set those two pieces equal to each other. That's what it's telling you. Now, I don't know what that is. I just made that up. But I'm trying to tell you, every time you have a median, these two pieces are automatically going to be equal to each other. Every single time. It doesn't matter what they are. You immediately set them equal to each other and solve it. Every single time. That's all you got to know. So does that make sense? because x is the same thing as 1x. So if it's positive 1x here, remember to move it, you gotta make it a negative. So that's where I ended up subtracting 1x. So every time you see A, you see M, you see just the letter, that's an understood 1. Yeah. So, anything else? Huh? You can bring them to me, you can't put them back in, but you can get smaller. Okay, anything else before we do something else? So, if they tell you something about the sides of a triangle, then you have to know that those two pieces are equal. You set them equal to each other, solve it, not a big deal. Okay?
We gotta go on another triangle?
Huh?
Do we have to go on another triangle?
No, I'm just telling you this as a reminder. So all you gotta do is draw the triangle, make sure you know that the two sides are equal, and then solve it. Okay? What else do I need to go through? Trying to make sure I cover everything that you're gonna looking at tonight. Okay, I don't know if this one has one of these. Yeah, that's another side. I don't need that one. I have to go with this one because it's not giving me another one. Okay, tonight you are going to end up getting a worksheet just like 4th block did yesterday. It's going to have 14 questions. Now, you are only going to do half of those, and of course I'll tell you which half you're going to do. But before you do this, I need to show you one of these, and it's going to be a lot like this one that we just did, except it's going to be inside the triangle instead of outside. So, go ahead and copy this one down, and make sure that you work it with me, and make sure you understand it, because if you have to do this one, or do one similar to this on your own tonight, I don't want you to say, well, I copied it, but I didn't understand it. Because if you do that, then you're pretty much on your own. So you better make sure you understand what I'm going to do. Now, this is number 7 on the worksheet that I'm about to do. And at this point, you don't know what you're going to do on the worksheet. So I may just randomly pick some. I may say do odds, evens. You don't really know at this point. And yours doesn't have to be the same as what I assigned 4th block yesterday. So, I'm going to do number 7 that's on the worksheet from them. So, we have a triangle, and I'm going to give you, we're going to have 2 medians, just 2. They didn't, for some reason, didn't do the 3rd one. Okay, so our triangle is X, Y, and Z. We have a midpoint here at H, we have a midpoint here at G, and our centroid in the middle is N. That's where the 2 lines intersect.
You got them, like, is there supposed to be like a third line in here?
They didn't draw one on this one. Yeah.
I drew it,
But if you drew one, it's not a big deal. They just didn't label anything up. Because some triangles are only gonna have 2 lines, some of them are gonna have 3, and there's even one like the last one that we did that only has 1. Okay? So, it depends what they give you. So now on this one, what they're gonna tell you is that YH is gonna equal 4x minus 5. So YH equals 4x minus 5. And that we have NH that equals x plus 1. So that's all the information they told you, but again, they want you to find x. So, we again have to use what we already know about these triangles. So, looking at what we know, we're dealing with YH. YH is from top to bottom. So YH is our what? If it goes from top to bottom, it's what? One more time. Short, long, whole. It's whole. So this YH is our whole. And NH is from here to here. Is that going to be? That's going to be the short. So NH is the short. So what are we going to deal with that involves the short and the whole? Is that the 1/3 or the 2/3? That's the 1/3. So we're going to make a form that says short equals 1/3 times the whole, just like we were doing a while ago. It's just now it has letters. So plug in what you know. So short is, so I'm going to take out the short, I'm going to plug in my x plus 1. Then I'm going to take out the whole, and I'm going to plug in the 4x minus 5. Now, don't put them back in there after you touched them. Now you just contaminated that whole cup. Now I'm going to have to clean the whole cup. Now, I've done exactly what I've been doing all along, except now I have letters. Now, can I do anything over here? Can you type in 1/3 times 4x in your calculator? No. So, what we're going to have to do is what we were doing a while ago. If I cannot do anything with this, what did I tell you to do with it earlier? Move it to the other side. So if I flip it and move it to the other side, it becomes a what? If I flip it, it becomes a what? 1/3. When I flip it, becomes 3, or 3/1. Really just becomes 3. So now multiply these by 3. So I'm going to move it over here, and I'm going to flip it. So now it's really going to be this times 3 and this times 3. When I move it. Because I've got to flip it and multiply it with something. And there's 2 somethings over there. So what is 3 times x?
3x.
3x. And what is 3 times 1? 3. So now, the only thing left over here is 4x minus 5. And now you should be able to solve this. We've already talked about this many, many times. So now you should be able to solve. So now just subtract 4x. So 3 minus 4 is negative 1x. So now I'm going to subtract 3. So now I'm going to have negative 1x equals, what's negative 5 minus 3? Negative 8. So now I need to divide everything by negative 1. So x equals positive 8. Now most of this is just solving an equation. So everything from here down is just solving an equation. The only thing new is just you gotta make sure you flip that upside down and move it to the other side. So, is there a question about any move that I made in this problem that you don't understand? Anything at all that you don't understand that I did, you don't know why I flipped it, you don't know why I multiplied it with x and 1, you don't understand anything in here. Because I'm telling you, if you have to do this on your own tonight, I don't want to hear that I didn't understand how to do it because I didn't understand what you did in class.
Alright, so when you get 3x plus 3 equals 4x minus 5,
Uh-huh.
then you change 4x to a negative 4x. Like, will that number right there always be dragged down to where the first number was? Like the 3x?
Yes. Now, I mean, again, it really depends on what's there. If the x is always in the front, then yes, it's always going to break off there. But if you have the 1 in the front, and you're just going to move it to wherever your x is. It depends on where the x is. If the x is in the front, take it to the front. If the x is second, take it to the second spot.
So, if the 4x actually was negative 4x minus 5, would the sign change to positive?
It would be adding 4x, yeah. Yeah, so your job is really just to do the opposite of what you have. So if it's originally a positive, then you subtract. If it's originally a negative, then you add. Okay? Now, like I said, you are going to have a sheet. Now, you also have to complete last night's if you didn't do it. Now, you get one more shot at this. As I told you, if you don't do it tonight, you come back tomorrow, considering you only have 7 tonight. And I'm still talking. If you come back tomorrow and you only have 7 and you didn't do those 7, what is Miss Sullivan doing with the assignment tomorrow? I'm taking it off and you won't get to do it tomorrow night. So if you don't do it tonight, that's just too bad. So you better make sure you do it tonight or you do it sometime before you walk in this door tomorrow. Because I don't want to hear. We have spent 2 days on this. If you don't understand, you better be finding how to get to after-school tutoring. You better figure out how to get somewhere. They have after-school tutoring every afternoon, Monday through Thursday. And they even have it for you at home. So,